Hi friends, Kelly here. Welcome back to my channel. I have been absent for quite some time. I had to take a little break from filming. I was not taking a break, however, from being creative, and I am so excited to share with you today well, it's a pretty big deal for me, a big announcement. I have started an Etsy shop, and I have some goodies to share with you. So before I jump into that, I brought Janie back out onto my desk today. Because I just love looking at this journal. If you are new around here, hey, thanks for showing up and checking out my channel. I really do appreciate that. I hope you like what you will find here. If you are new here, you might not know what I'm talking about when I say Janie. If you've been following me for quite some time, this is an old friend. This is Janie, the junk journal. That was a mouthful. The journal actually doesn't have a name, I guess. It's the person, this fictitious person. That's Janie. That's who this journal is about. I'm not here to talk about, rather. Boy, I'm rusty. I haven't filmed in a while. I'm not here to talk about Janie, per se. I just brought her out because I needed something to start with. But really, truly, this journal is kind of the jumping off point for me in this whole junk journal journey that I've been on. Now, if you have been following me for a while, you've seen this journal and you know that it is chock full of beautiful, vintage inspired, grungy, just loveliness. I love this journal so much. And what I love about this journal is that it's got two parts to it. It has this front signature is really all about Janie, her travels, memory keeping kind of a thing. And the second half is all about her field work in the world of bugs and butterflies and birds. And so entomology, botany, herbology, mycology, all the ologies. So that is what lives in here. Now, once upon a time, I had talked, and you might recall this, I had talked about how I would love to have a signature stamp. I wanted to build a stamp set that had signatures, different buildable names. I am so excited to share with you today that it does now exist. So I am going to show you the very new Craft Social Sign Here stamp set, and there's a companion goes to it. And I wanted to bring this out and show you what it is that kind of launched me into this to make this stamp set so that it will make sense to you. So keeping in mind this vintage vibe that we love, if you are a junk journal that loves the style, you are not here by accident. So let me share with you my very brand new stamp set. Here we are, friends. This is my newest stamp set, or these are my newest stamp sets. I actually have 3 brand new stamp sets that I am releasing, and I have a few stamp sets already in my shop, and I brought back a favorite that I've been asked to restock so many times and is restocked. So I'll talk about that in a little bit here. But first off, I'm so excited to share with you Sign Here and Registered. Now I know that this is very difficult to see in this video, so I'm gonna set these aside and bring in this copy here. It's getting a little beat up because I keep moving it around. This is actually both of these stamp sets inked and stamped. This is not a printout. This is the actual stamp in action. I took my prototype and I inked the whole thing and I swooshed, put it right down on a piece of paper. It's just a little easier to see. Okay, so what exactly are we looking at here? Sign Here is a stamp set that is designed for you to be able to build signatures. I so desperately wanted this. I needed something where I could play around with names and add things to faux documents and ID cards, really anything you can think of adding a signature to. It helps add that extra touch of authenticity, which is funny because it's all make-believe, but you know what I mean. So here's how I designed this. I'm going to talk you through kind of what you're getting here. This is available on my Etsy shop. There is a link below. This, as of filming right now, which is March 19th, 2025, this larger set here is $20. And I ship worldwide. You have to pay shipping and handling. Sorry for my international friends. I cannot simply afford that. But I tried to keep the price very low and reasonable, and I'll talk a little bit about how I design stamps so that you are getting the biggest bang for your buck, because I think we need to have value. These are our crafty tools are not necessary, right? I mean, really, it's not. These are all things we want. We don't need them. But, you know, spending your crafty dollars is a big deal. I truly want you to have the biggest bang for your buck. I'm all about value. So please keep that in mind when I talk through these stamps, so you understand kind of how I build things, because that directly correlates to how this is structured. And so, my friends, if it will drive you nuts that this is not in alphabetical order, trust me, I get it, because it makes me a little cranky. But there is a reason for that. So, okay, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm so excited. Let's talk about this. So what you have here are first names. There's a first name for every letter of the alphabet that is feminine and masculine. Keep in mind that this is all up to interpretation, and this is my interpretation of male or feminine and masculine. I like to say it that way because that makes a little bit more sense. Feminine and masculine names. So you get one for every letter of the alphabet. This also includes a last name for every letter of the alphabet. I just did one, and I picked names. Oh boy, you know how hard it is to come up with this, like narrow it down? It was so tricky. Some of the names are actually representative of people in my life, or a nod to people in my life, or special people, and some are just, I don't know, I liked the way the letters looked. So I'm not going to go through every name. You can definitely check this out on my shop. Should it be in my shop or on my shop? I think it's in my shop. You guys know how I get with words. So the names here, I'll just pick out a couple that are kind of fun, like Anton, Annette. We've got Isaac and Charles and Clara. We have Henry and Helen and Ralph, Jackson, Joyce. I tried to come up with names that were kind of nostalgic and kind of the era of like late 1800s to early mid 1900s, kind of keeping in there. I chose a font. Oh my gosh, how many fonts did I look at in audition? I can't even tell you. I chose a font that had a lot of interest to the letters, kind of kept to that aesthetic of that time period. Wasn't too hand-drawn, wasn't too computerized, so I tried to find something that had a really nice balance and was very readable. So this is what I landed on. Names like Zachary, Ulysses, Foley, Van Hoot. Oh, I love that one. A couple of names that are nods to people. Gwendolyn, you'll see Gwendolyn in here. That is actually my oldest daughter's name. And if you know any Gwendolyns, you probably know that they typically spell it with a D-O-L-Y-N. Well, we spell Gwen's name with a D-A-L-Y-N. We think it's a little more feminine. So that is Gwendolyn is in there. Lillian is in there. That is my other daughter's name. Anderson is in here. That is my last name. So I've put some of those things in here. And then I want to point this one out because I have to. So there's the name Maggie. Now, that is in honor of and reference to Margaret from Seven Plaza. Now, I know she does not go by Maggie, and for all I know, I feel like she maybe mentioned this one time, that is something she would never go by. However, I could not fit, or I chose not to fit Margaret into the stamp set, which again, I'll talk about spacing here in a second. Also, if I had used Margaret, I would have had to spell it, or I would have chosen to spell it the traditional American English version, and she does not spell it that way, so it wouldn't have been her name properly anyhow. So that is my nod to Margaret. I hopefully, if she sees this, which I hope she does, I hope she doesn't take great offense to it. I hope I have not offended her. But I just wanted to point out that that is who I was thinking of when I came up with that name. Other names in here are, like I said, nods to people in my life. And then some are just fun. Okay, so you're getting the first name, you're getting a last name, and then you're getting a few extras. There's the words sir, dearly, sincerely, Mr., Mrs., Miss. You also are getting this fun star. It's really difficult to see stamped here because I kind of squashed it, but it's a little bit more of a decorative looking star. It's kind of almost like a decorative embossed kind of look. You'll see that here in a bit on some sample documents I have made. Let's see, what else did I want to point out to you? This, you guys know I love being able to manipulate my stamps, and I am not afraid to cut them. So this word right here, Van Hoot, I intentionally did that for the V last name. You can cut that apart and you can actually use the Van in front of a different name, or you could use the Hoot all on its own. You also get some initials. There are 6 initials at the bottom. I could not fit all the alphabet in here, so I went with 6 that I thought had pretty decorative kind of flourishes to them, or just letters that were important to me. So you get a D, R, H, W, G, and T. So you have a few initials to work with, you have all the names to work with, and they are interchangeable. And it is so fun. I've already played with it quite a bit, and I love it. So I have some ID cards that I made that I am going to share with you guys here in a moment. Before I move on to talk about registered, I want to talk a little bit more about when you have stamps manufactured. I want to give you guys kind of a behind the scenes look at how people design and create and manufacture things like this. For better or for worse, I might give you some knowledge that might make you a little annoyed sometimes, because it annoys me. Here's the deal. Now, I can only speak to the manufacturer I work with, but the principles I would imagine apply to all manufacturers of stamps like this. So I have these manufactured in the United States, and I worked with the company to make sure that my artwork was going to be perfect. And I do call this artwork because any image that you use to create stamps is considered artwork. Here's the deal. To make sure that they have the space they need to cut the stamp, to cut the rubber so that you have an edge, you have to make it of a certain size. You also have to have space in between. So I know the space I need in between each stamp. So that is why this is not in alphabetical order. I was very strategic in making sure that I could fit as much as I could on here. So with a font stamp like this, especially this one, I'm dealing with letters that go lower or go higher. So I needed to be mindful of how that worked. So you will see that each line will have, like, these all end at the same level on the bottom, and these ones do as well. And then we get down to this row and they all have some sort of letter that swoops down. Same with this row. So that was kind of how I had to build this stamp set, is paying attention to the words and how they were, the letters floated above or below kind of that center line. So that is why it is not in alphabetical order. But I wanted to maximize the space. I wanted to fit in anything and everything I could. That is why we get a star, because I just needed to fit something into that tiny little space, and I chose to add a little decorative star. So that is kind of how stamps work when you create them and design them. You have to have space around them. So I'm sorry if I have now given you information that's going to annoy you when you look at your stamp sets, and if you ever have a stamp set that does not maximize the space. Well, there's probably reasons for it. It could be a design thing. It could be, what else are you going to fit on it, especially if it's larger pieces. But it also might just kind of annoy you, because you'll go, why didn't you add something else? So I thought I would share that with you to enlighten you and maybe ruin your day a little. So for what it's worth. Okay, moving on. We also have registered. Registered is a companion stamp because this has all kinds of fun words for you to be able to create your faux documents, your ID cards, to just add little extra touches to your projects. So I have words like sign here, certified, due, canceled, identification. If you wanted to, you could certainly cut that apart so you have the word ID or identification. Address, department, void, file, telephone, collect. So you can see there's a lot of different words here. Fun words that I just wanted to fit in. Non-assignable. I think that's a fun word. I don't know where I picked that up, but I like that word, so I like to use it. Extra things you're getting here are pointy fingers. They go both ways because it drives me crazy when I have a pointy finger that only goes one direction. So I made sure we have one for either direction. You can go up, down, left, right. This piece right here, I call this a cancellation bar. I don't know if it has a proper name, but that's what I'm calling it. This is something, it's really hard to see here because I smushed it down so much it kind of blobbed out. It's very difficult to stamp a whole entire stamp set at one time, let me tell you. But I will show you some examples of it. But this is like a fun one that you can use to kind of put a little cancellation over something. Some arrows here. We have, not letters, we have the numbers 0 through 9. There is a dashed and a solid line. You also get this the abbreviation for number, but it's a small little O with a dash underneath it to give it a little more interest. And then this is your hashtag, your number sign, your pound sign, if you're old like me and you remember when we called it the pound sign. So you get that as well. So this whole set is designed to have a typewriter-esque font that will complement well to the sign here and pretty much any faux document you want. So those are my 2 newest stamp sets. I have a third one. It doesn't really go into this junk journal-y vibe. So at the end, I will give you a sneak peek of that one as well. Okay, so let's see these in action. I'm going to set those aside. Oh, and for the price as of today, again, today's price, this stamp set runs at $12, and that is US dollars. Okay, so let me set these aside and show you some things that I've made with these fun stamps. So I could not help myself. I had to make some ID cards. These were so much fun to make. I love how this all turned out. So I'm going to point out a few things on each of these cards, but before I do that, you might be wondering, where did you get all this? Well, I needed something to practice on and to play with, and so I decided to create something digitally, and then I realized I forgot how much fun it is to design things digitally. I used to have a business where I did party stuff, and so I made a printable. So let me show you the printable that this came from. Let me introduce you to ID document starters. This is the first in a few new digitals that I have available in my Etsy shop. I made this. It is a 2-pager. It's a very affordable digital that you can find and download and play with yourself. I was very intentional again about spacing, maximizing this. I wanted to have some versatility. So here's what you get with this. You have 5 basic starters. You can build any sort of ID card or document or anything you want with these 5 pieces. They also can be rotated. So this could be, you could have it this direction, you could have it this direction, you can have it any which way you want. Same with all of these, especially this larger one. This one you could certainly cut in half, or you can do it this way. Whatever you choose, you have everything you need here. I chose multiple colors, so you had a bunch of different colorways to work with. And then the photos. We need people. We need the stars of the show here. I love storytelling. I love building things with people involved. So I have created a set of photos for you. They are very much like Tim Holtz's photo booth. So much fun to make. I understand why he has made so many of those, because this is a total blast to do. So I have gone in and made you several photos that you can use with these. You'll notice that these 3 here are a little smaller than these 8 down here for 2 reasons. One, I made a few of the cards with a smaller box to put them in. Also, again, I wanted to maximize your space. I didn't want to make these cards any smaller, but I wanted to fit something in there, and so I made some little photos. Then on this side here, you've got ones that are slightly bigger. Now they fit into any of these boxes, and certainly use them in all your projects. So you don't have to use a small one with a small one. You can use a big one over a small one. You can use a small one over a big one. So many options. Another thing I want to point out is I love people in hats and uniforms. So you will find some hats, quite a few hats, glasses, military or some other uniform, or I don't know what this lady is wearing. Let's see, my fingers don't want to work, but I don't know what that is. Some sort of uniform. She could be in a marching band for all I know, but she also can have an ID card, and she does. So let me show you what I have made with this. Again, this is in my Etsy shop. It's very, very affordable, and I hope that you will check it out. So here's what I made with the ID document starters and using sign here and registered. So we'll just start with this little one here. So this little card here is this one down here. Could also go this way. So here we've just got, I used multiple colors. I think that's another way to add interest. The word classified, serial number, and then I added in some numbers. This dash is actually I gotta get the stamp set. It's just the solid line, and I just masked off a little bit of it. It says non-assignable, and here is that cancellation bar I was talking about. I double stamped it to extend it, so all of these are, I gotta keep remembering to pick that up. This arrows, the cancellation bar, and the 2 lines are definitely extendable. You can multi-stamp them, and you can make that line any length you want, or shorten it. Here we have a signature. This is Sarah G. Newman. And apparently this is a duplicate card, so Sarah G must have lost one already. But you can see here, do it this way here. If you look at them side by side, you can see that I've already started the distressing for you, but there's so much more room for making it your own. So here I've added just a little fold and inked it, done some inking and some distressing of the paper and a little bit of splattering. So I've gotten you started. So this is a great, as it's called, document starters. This is a great printable, especially if this is a newer adventure for you. Okay, so there's Sarah G. Newman. Let's see, who do we have next? This is Lillian D., which is actually my daughter's name. I just had to use it. This one's a little bit more simplified, but I also want to point out on this one, I rounded the corners, but I left the actual printable piece of it square. So you can round the corners or you can choose not to, but I wanted to add that detail, but not make a decision for you. So I rounded the corners, did a little extra inking. Here I've used pops of red. This is actually Crackling Campfire, is that what it's called? Tim Holtz ink. And I will show you that these are very mixable. You can mix these with your existing stamp sets. So here we have Lillian D. Used the pointy finger, the cancellation bar there, and the arrows. And here I put member number and sign here and identification record. So the words are definitely interchangeable to build whatever it is your little heart desires. Okay, next we have this member record that is registered. And here I've incorporated some additional stamps. So this text stamp, it's like a little bit of a scripty text. And then I believe these are Tim Holtz stamps, a little bit bigger numbers and a fun little mark. And then this number strip I know is Tim Holtz. And this is Miss Kimberly R. Bart. So there's an example of how one of the names could go either way. It could be a first name or you could consider it a last name. So Bart could be a gentleman's first name or it could be the last name of anybody. And apparently this card is non-assignable. So there we go, Miss Kimberly R. Bart. Let's do this one next. This one is fun. This one I went for more of a military kind of vibe because he is clearly wearing some sort of uniform. Now this gentleman already has a name attached to him. This is Henry Greenberg. So Henry Greenberg's card, we've got, again, mixing colors. This is, I believe, a Tim Holtz stamp as well as this one. It says certified member. This is a masked off version of a field note stamp from Tim Holtz. I know this is Tim Holtz and I know this one is Tim Holtz. So you can see you can use all your stamps you already love and adore and incorporate them into, or incorporate sign here and registered into what you're already constantly using. If you are somebody like me, you reach for the same stamps over and over. And I hope that you will consider these to be those type of stamps for you as well. Okay, here we have identification registered, required serial. So you can see again, I'm just interchanging and mixing up words. It's really fun. Signature. So this signature actually says Henry Thomas G. It just happened to work out that I had a G for an initial, and his last name on this is Greenberg. It could be anything you want. You could cut this off. You don't have to make it Greenberg. You can do whatever you want with it, but I decided to go ahead and embrace that and give him the name of Henry Thomas G. And then finally, this one was really fun to play with because there's so much space to work with. Again, I used some Tim Holtz stamps here, incorporated into the registered and sign here stamps. I keep holding it up, but I probably should leave it down for you guys. So here I've got member number, a bunch of numbers filed. So maybe this is some sort of record that she has to bring with her every time she goes somewhere. So it's been filed several times. We got a pointy finger again, and then I just kind of stamped things a few times. Canceled, void, non-assignable, address, classified. I've got a fingerprint here and a cancellation bar over it. Over here, it says department open order, whatever that means. Come up with a story. Whatever is expired, registered. Here it has a D72-1453. This D is actually just a D from the stamp set. So I probably masked off the D at the end of one of these words. So you could add a letter by simply using your stamps to your advantage by masking them. We've got here, it says certified. We've got some numbers. I just used the solid line, masked it off to create a little more interest. And this is Helen R. Davidson. So it's so fun to come up with names for these people. I love doing that. I had so much fun making these. And now these are perfect for tucking into a junk journal. In fact, let's grab Janie and tuck one in. Okay, let's put one of these cards in here. Let's see, where can we tuck one in? How about, oh, I need to do some work in here. Got some empty pages. Thought I had a little, here we go. Oh, no, that's not down. Well, what do you know? We'll just pretend. Okay, let's see. So we can just tuck that in there. We could tuck it onto there. Could definitely ink the back or add a background. I happen to have a solution for that. Let's see if there's somewhere else. Oops, ripping a page. How about we do this? We could put one of these in here. Perfect. I just love that color combo. Okay, so that is ID document starters using registered and sign here. Now I had so much fun making the the ID document starters printable. My brain just completely stopped for a moment. I had so much fun making that I decided I finally wanted to jump in to creating digitals because I love this process. I love designing these things. I love curating these collections. I have enjoyed that for many, many years of my life. I used to, like I said, have a party business where I designed all of the party wear. So the invitation, the banners, the cupcake toppers, all the things. I had missed that so much. So after months of scanning documents, shopping, researching, scouring the internet, doing all of this gathering and coming up with this really fun collection of things now, it's time to use them. It's time to share them. So I have created a 15-page digital, again, very affordable. This is volume 1 of This and That, so that should tell you there's going to be more. I have so many good things to share. I'm so excited. So let me just do a flip through of this. Again, it's 15 pages, and it's a really, just as it says, This and That. So you're going to get a lot of different things. This one is a little bit more heavy on tickets and tags and tabs and things like that. So let's just go through it. One of the things that I love doing is adding pops of color. So these collections will typically always have some pops of color. So right off the bat, we've got some pink and we've got some green. So you've got things like, this is a schematic of a diesel oil engine, apparently. We have some tickets, we have some playing cards, other tickets. These are like little tokens, postage stamp, whatever this is. You're also going to find multiple languages in here. I've got things in French and German and I don't even know, Italian, all kinds of different languages here. Things like what I would consider like maybe membership cards. Some things are, you'll find you could print them and put them back to back. Like this is a business card that you could print and put back to back. It's got, here's another name. We got Mr. Jazz, I'm not really sure how you say that, Thomas. So again, you can make your own fun like calling cards or business cards now with those stamp sets. I didn't even think about that till I just saw that. That would be really fun, actually. I'm gonna have to remember that. Okay, so we've got, anytime I had, again, I want to maximize the space, right? Anytime I had a weird space, I couldn't quite figure out what to put in there, and I didn't want to put another ticket because those are tall and slender, I would add something fun like a moth or a butterfly. So we've got a butterfly there, or maybe it's a moth, I'm not really sure. Here we go with a little bit more neutral colors, but then you get a pop of purple. We got a moth, and you'll also find some photos. So I have a large collection of photos, which I love, and I can't wait to share with you. In fact, I'm gonna grab a few. This is a box of photos I am getting ready to scan. I've scanned some of them, but I have them organized here. So, for example, this one here, you're gonna see that one in just a moment. So I have tons and tons of vintage photos that I want to share with you. So you will find those. I love calling them found photos. And I've decided I'm going to call it found photos, and the photo is going to be F-O-T-O spelled with an F because I just like how that looks and sounds. So you will be seeing more photos coming. There's going to be a whole collection called Found Photos with different snapshots and things. So I'm very excited, but I will always in the this and that collections be incorporating in a few photos. Here we have another sheet that also includes a photo here, and then some random weird things, right? I mean, we like weird, so here's a fish. I have a lot of really fun naturalist kind of things. I'm coming up with a kit on just that, just nature and bugs and butterflies and birds and all the things. But this is a collection of miscellaneous, so you're going to get a few of those in here as well. Maps are another thing you'll find. So here we have a map of somewhere, not in the United States, I don't think. No, yep. There's a map and some more tickets. This one is fun because you can come in and you could punch out the numbers, you could circle things, you could do all kinds of fun stuff, so lots and lots of room to play. This page here, we have another map. This is really fun. This is a ticket to the Rose Bowl football game from 1942. My family, we are sports family, football particularly, so I incorporated a few of those things in. I'm really trying to get my hands on a vintage Minnesota Gopher. That's our University of Minnesota college. I want to get my hands on some vintage tickets from them. So I'm going to be scouring for that. We got some more tickets over here. Tickets are, I just love them. Like right here in front of me, I just have a little stack of them that I played around one day with inking, and I just have them all over the place. I love using little tiny tickets and things. Like here's another one I just added a little leaf to. Very fun. Okay, moving on. Here's another one of those items you can do front and back. This is another football game ticket for the Army versus Navy. I'm trying to see if there's a date on here. I cannot see one. 29th football game. So whenever that would have been. They've been doing that annually for eons. Playing cards, whatever that is, little postage stamp. And I don't think this is in Dutch. I think this is German maybe, or I'm not really sure, but it says Rotterdam. I don't know if I say that right, but this is a nod to Margaret. I don't know if this is actually the Rotterdam in the Netherlands, but that's where she lived or grew up. I can never remember which is which. I think she might live there now. So I just put that in. I found that and I thought, oh, I'm going to put that in because it made me think of her. So I owe a lot of gratitude to Margaret for kickstarting my creativity again 2 years ago when I was in a real dark slump, going through some hard life stuff. And she kind of resurrected me out of that by just providing the most amazing projects, and her loveliness that her voice, just listening to her is soothing and calming. You just feel like you're in a room with a friend, and anybody that follows Margaret would probably agree with me. She's just the best. So I feel like I always am just going to owe her some gratitude for just pulling me out of the dredges and getting me back into a place where I want to create and do stuff like this. Okay, this here is really fun because it's big and you have a lot of space to play, so you can create this into anything you want. I think it would be really cool with one of those photos like right here and some other stuff kind of mixed in. Again, some pops of color. We've got, I'm sure this is a butterfly. I'm sure of it. A really pretty bird. And then here we've got a bingo card. You guys might remember if you caught my antique haul. Oh gosh, I don't remember if it was a year ago or a month ago. Well, clearly wasn't a month ago, but it was a while ago. I got a collection of bingo cards, so I put one of those in here. I'll probably add other ones in the future, they'll have different numbers, because I think I have 6 of them. I picked this first one because it has some numbers in there that are meaningful to me. Here is just a good all-around basic tag, some more tickets, and then here's a playing card. Now this playing card, it's funny because I actually have it. Let me grab it. I have like a little weird, I love little boxes and bins and all of the organizing stuff. So I have this really random little collection here of things. I'm trying to figure out how to scan these and make them usable, but it's really hard. I might have to just cut, well, I wouldn't cut, but I might have to take the photo off. So these, you might see those at some point, but I also think that these are of a later era than I typically use, but they're fun. Also trying to figure out how to get this. I've scanned it so many times, I just can never get it perfect, but I'm gonna try. Let's see. Isn't that cute? That'll be in a future collection. Here are these tickets right here. I guess I decided to put them together. Let's see what else is in here. That's not important. What am I looking for? Oh, why did I open this box? I got distracted. It's so fun. Here, let's make this a little more user-friendly, visible. I play a lot with scale because, again, I want to maximize the space. I want to make it usable. I want there to be little bits and big pieces that you can play with. Here's a great example. This little playing card here is look at how tiny it is. It's so cute and little, but I wanted it to be bigger. So I actually blew that one up a little bit to give it a little bit more size. So this is actually the front and back of this teeny tiny little playing card. So there is another example of sizing and changing things to make it user-friendly. I want it, like I said, biggest bang for our buck. Here is going to be a few pages of just documents. This is a schematic for a locomotive of some sort, something to do with a train. This is out of a vintage magazine from 1913. It is a full-page advertisement for this company. But this piece I liked because you could cut out all of these pieces and do different things with them, especially this one I think is really neat, and you could do something different with that. So I chose that one intentionally for that reason. Here we have a couple of documents that are just in a different language. I think they're both French. I scanned them and then I took a picture, or I held my camera over it, and you can actually translate things if you have an iPhone, if you have a newer iPhone maybe. I have a brand new one. Because I wanted to make sure I wasn't providing you, I don't speak this language, and I would be really embarrassed if this was like a company that made diapers. I don't know, probably not diapers back then, but it would be embarrassing. So I don't know what these companies make or manufacture or what they are, but I don't think they are bad. I'm hopeful of that. So I don't pay that much attention to those things, but maybe I ought to. Okay, moving on. You get a sheet of photos. So found photos will be included in each one. They'll be scattered through, and then there will always be a full page. The sizing and everything will always vary, but here is a collection. I tried to make it a very wide variety of what you could do with this. So we've got a group of friends. We have a wedding. Here's some ladies running down the beach in swimwear. I just love this picture. This is a photo from up high of a downtown. This is actually Minneapolis. I have a lot of I live in Minnesota. I live near Minneapolis, so I have a lot of stuff that is regional. So I have a lot of Minneapolis stuff. This also is Minneapolis. And then here's just a really large group photo. I think this was a group of people that do something with horticulture or something. I can't quite remember. And then finally, there will always be at least one background paper, because you might want to print two-sided, or you just need a good basic background paper. So that is the This and That collection, volume 1. As I said, there will be more volumes coming out. I'm already working on volume 2, and I am working on a field notes inspired collection. It's called Naturalist Notebook. I love, like, what is it called? Alliteration. I think that's the right terminology, when you have, words that have the same letter or sound. So there is that one. And then I also have a backgrounds. It's really hard to not call these backdrops. That's Mr. Holtz's product. This is different. So these are backdrops. This is volume 1. You guessed it, there will be more. This is a 10-page set, very, very neutral, very good staple for junk journalers. Now, I will call to your attention that this is printed borderless. My printer actually does print borderless. However, to give you an example of what it looks like not borderless, this is the same sheet. I actually included it in both sets. You've got it and that's probably how it'll always be. One of my backgrounds papers will make it into one of the this and that collections. But this is, as you can see, has that white border around it because I just didn't choose a borderless print. But on these I did. So these are all borderless print. If you have this and you print it and you're like, but mine's not borderless, it's your printer function, and I cannot help you with that. I would Google it. So good luck. But you get 10 sheets, so we'll go through these. I intentionally added, I did this all digitally, just so you know, these are not papers that I had in hand scanned. I made these all digitally, but I wanted to make them still have some grunge and some dinginess and some distressing to them, but not so much that you can't play and make it your own. So again, this is a product I think would be great for beginners and for people in it for the long haul. So you're going to see things like staining. Here I did a coffee cup or a teacup, a little splash here and there. So I've got a few of those. Here's some more staining. This is kind of an abstract text or like a script or handwriting. This one you can see is a little bit more. It's kind of a tea stained. It's got some grunginess to it. It also has a little bit of movement, so you can take this and, for example, like you can kind of see almost a natural crease, so you could definitely kind of crease it, give it a little bit more interest. This one lends itself more to a warmer tone. It also has, it's probably not hard to pick up here, but it has kind of like a leather texture to it. So I love that one. I'm going to take a quick break because my camera is about to overheat, so I'll be right back with more details about these. Okay, I'm back. There was absolutely no lapse of time for you, but for me, I had to take a little break. My camera was like, yeah, we're overheating over here. Must mean I'm talking too much, but I have so many fun things to share, but we are getting close to the end. So back into our backgrounds. Here's another one that has that staining. This is kind of like a tea or a coffee. I mean, let's be honest, this is what my coffee looks like. I'm like a 50-50 girl. It's like half coffee, half creamer. But that's got a little extra detail for you. This one is kind of like a newsprint background, but it's very abstract. It's not readable at all, but you know it's there. And let's see. Here's another one that's kind of abstract-y. It makes me think of a little bit of rust and maybe like a cardboard almost, like a corrugated cardboard. Here's one that lends itself a little darker. It's got some cooler tones with the grays, a little bit of splattering added to it. This one is fun. It's got some advertisements. So this one has a little staining. And then you've got pieces here. You could actually, cut this apart. This would be great for collaging or a background. Here's another one that is heavily stained here on the bottom, but you've got light parts up here and lighter in the middle. It's actually looks like a notebook paper. I don't know how vintage notebook paper is, but I just like this design, so I added it. And then finally, we have one that has a bit of a ledger background and then some more of that staining. So that is Backgrounds Volume 1. Again, more of those to come. I actually had originally started this set as 20 pages. However, I will give you a little more behind the scenes kind of information. Etsy has limitations on the size of files that you can upload for download for a customer. And I'm trying something out here. Maybe when you watch this video at a future date, maybe this is totally irrelevant, but all of my files, I'm trying to make sure that they come as a PDF because that is my preferred method to get a file. I like to be able to just open it up and print it. I don't want to have to mess around with using another piece of software to open up photos or anything like that. I just want it as like one sheet. So that's what you will get from me, is always a PDF with exactly what you see. So to do that, I have to be mindful of the size of the files, and there's limitations, and you can only have 5 downloads per listing. So keeping that in mind, I had to do some trimming, had to trim some fat, and I had to bring these down to from a 20 page to a 10 page. So backgrounds will be 10 pages. All my other kits will be varying in pages. This and that volumes. I like consistency, so I'm going to try to keep those to 15 pages. And then, you know, whatever else comes down the road. So that is what is new with me. My Etsy store is officially open for business. Consider this the grand opening. So I hope you will go and check it out. I hope you will maybe purchase something and support me in that way. I would be very, very grateful. It is so fun to create. If you ever have ideas, send them my way. Someday I hope to have so many products and such a need that I will be able to have a design team. Wouldn't that be wonderful? That is such a dream of mine. I love it. This truly is such a joy to be able to create and have these and make things. I love it. I hope you do too. I hope I am providing you with some rich content and some fun products that you can use to play. My prices will always be very affordable. Like I said, I will always maximize the space to give you the best bang for your buck. I value that you spend your crafty dollars in a way you spend them, right? Like I have value to that because I only have so much income I can spend on crafty stuff without my husband getting a little, you know, give me some side eye. So that is what's new. Oh, I did say I'd give you guys a sneak peek of one more. Let me just bring it in, a very brief sneak peek. This is my other new set. This is called Goodreads. This one is actually designed more for like a reading journal. It's not vintage or anything like that. It's just a set that I desperately wanted for my own reading journal. So I created it and put it out there for the world to enjoy. So here is what this one looks like. I won't spend too much time on it. I probably will highlight this in a future video, but for right now, here is just a peek at what this looks like. And I will show, this is my current reading journal. This is my one from last year. I'll just kind of pop it open here. It's got all my stuff. I realized I am not good at tracking and staying on top of things. So like here was my tracker and I completely fell apart in the summer. I don't read a lot in the summer. I'm too busy. And then I just kind of gave up. And then I was like, I might as well track these last few days of the year when I read. So no more trackers for me. So thank you very much. My new journal has space for listing. So here you'll see there's this stamp here. I wanted this to fit a lot of stuff. So here I have my TBR and some little glasses. The numbers fit in there, and so do many of the words. And then this is what this journal will look more like, is just kind of documenting the books I read and maybe giving it a little bit of a review. So I'm not going to go into detail about this stamp set. Just know that it does exist if you are a reader and you like journaling about it or keeping some. Well, my battery died, so I had to switch it. I guess that means I need to be done. So, all right, friends. Well, again, I hope you will go onto my Etsy site and take a peek at these. I just wanted, like I said, where I was trying to say before my battery so rudely cut me off, that I'll go into detail on this at another date. I just wanted you to see it and know it exists and it's out there. So with that, friends, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I always value your time, and I hope you got something out of this. I hope you're excited. I hope you'll go check these out, and I hope you'll come back to see what I'm going to be creating next. I am going to be working in Case Closed, my Case Closed folio. It's been a year since I started that project. I need to finish it. I'm excited to do it. And I'm starting another one of those folios. I had so much fun with that one, even though I haven't completed it, with a field notes style. So that is coming very soon also. In the meantime, go check out my Etsy site. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done that already. Thank you so much for coming back and checking out what I have to offer, and I hope you are well, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends.